All Blacks were flying high with Jonah Lomu just running over everybody, every cat and dog. And, and we believed that we could do it in a way, although I don't think it was shared by the whole country as such.
It's probably one of those, though, as the tournament progressed, kind of quarterfinal, semi-final, it'll probably built the kind of belief within the squad that you probably can do it.
Yes, I think but basically when we won that first game at Newlands on that opening game, it was a massive, massive boost to the belief in the squad. Mm-hmm. Our games against Romania and Canada weren't great. I mean, that did put a little bit of doubt in a couple of things for us, and we had to look hard at ourselves in certain areas like discipline, etc. And we pride ourselves at discipline. We actually, if you go and look at that World Cup in that final, we only gave away 6 penalties. Wow. And that made a massive difference. And but yes, the confidence built, although, you know, it's easy to talk afterwards, but there was always that big respect and that a little bit of doubt. You know, the All Blacks were flying high with Jonah Lomu just running over everybody, every cat and dog, and it was quite intimidating. But we realised, you know, we can't just focus on one player. We need to look at the team, at the game, and there was more about that. And our big focus then became how we could control position and field position, and then from there on we would take it.
Now, because me and Zach were laughing before we came on, and we said one of the questions we have to ask you is, were you the person that masterminded how to stop Jonah Lomu?
No, I won't say that. I think it was quite a combined effort from the squad. I probably had a little bit of I did have some say in it, but there came a few ideas from a lot of guys, because obviously it was something to consider, and he was a target. But we watched and we saw that he was watching the ball all the time, and he wasn't really a lot aware of what was going on his outside. Okay. So for that day on our defence, firstly our defence throughout the tournament and before that was one that was well tailored for the sort of attack that the All Blacks brought, because they played fairly deep and they tried to get the ball to Jonah as soon as possible, which is obvious. And we defended a man and a half out, so we could get to the outside guys fairly quickly. So our fly-off would be in between their fly-off and the inside centre, which means our inside centre were between their centres. That is why you would have seen in that final that even Joppie Mulder on outside centre could get to Jonah, because he was already halfway between the outside centre and the wing. And then we decided to put James Small on the outside of Jonah. So if he could come in to make the tackle, he would come from where he can't really, he's outside of his peripheral vision. Fortunately, James did not have to make a lot of tackles on him. Some other guys got there before him. So there were a lot of guys quite keen to make the tackles on Jonah that day. But it was just sheer commitment and sheer determination that stopped him that day. Yeah. I wouldn't say it was a masterminded thing by anybody in particular. It was just a very, very, very determined group of players that didn't allow him to score twice.
Mm. And what was it like just being in South Africa, home World Cup? Your team is in the World Cup final. What was the atmosphere like around the nation? Because obviously you see it depicted in movies like Invictus, and you hear maybe there's documentaries out about it. But from your perspective, how did you kind of see that side of things, not just on the rugby pitch, but kind of off it as well? Was it this momentous watershed moment that it's often been depicted as, or
Look, I believe the World Cup picked up a lot of steam, and when I first realized that something is happening in the country is when we left the hotel that the day on the opening match again, and I'll take it back to there. And we haven't even left for half a block, and we suddenly were being joined by a lot of taxis with people from all different colors and creeds in them. And they were just like sort of, although we had the police escorting us, they were also escorting the bus to the stadium and waving their flags and cheering. And it was unbelievable when we got to the stadium. The bus almost couldn't get through for the people, how they were packing and cheering on the team. And there was a massive expectation. And obviously after that win, the expectation grew. But with expectation, there's also a lot of pressure.
Yeah, of course.
So from our side, what we experienced was a lot more pressure from the nation for us to perform, while I believe that the rest of the nation enjoyed it a little bit more than the guys that was right in there, preparing the team and wondering about the next game, etc. But there was a massive expectation. There was a massive vibe. That the day when we left for the final game, it was very hard, even from the hotel, the doors, to get to the bus. The way people came to wish us good luck. It was. And from what I've gathered afterwards, speaking to a lot of my friends and the family, and it was like there was just nobody that missed that final that day, which is quite amazing.
Yeah, it was one of them that the whole of South Africa was literally watching it.
Exactly, yeah. Which we realized how much an big impact it had, like in the townships, which wasn't traditionally a rugby place, but places like Soweto where people were watching and cheering on, and when we won, and I mean that was like just amazing. I mean, we never expected that to have that sort of effect, but it obviously had. I think Nelson Mandela obviously played a massive role in that. The fact that he supported the team, that he went out on the field with the number 6 jersey, that he supported us right throughout the tournament. He came to our practice, as you've seen in the movie, before the opening game. There was a lot of communication and contact with him right throughout the tournament, and I think that helped a lot, and that probably instilled that sort of national pride with all the people.